January is usually a month when most people feel the most inspired, the most motivated. They set their New Year's resolutions and they join gyms and they get productive and they make changes in their life and things like that. And for me, it's quite the opposite. For me, January historically has been a time when I felt the least motivated, the least inspired, the least productive. Just haven't felt like doing anything. That's historically January's been like that. So for various reasons, which I'll talk about maybe later in the video, in another video, which I'm not really going to get into right now, January's just been like a no-starter for me. And last year was interesting, and it's specifically around the 5th, 6th of January that I tend to hit my lowest point of inspiration, where I just feel more, I don't know, like a lot of resistance to life, So what do you do when you get that resistance? How do you deal with it? So last year was interesting because last year we started walking the Camino de Santiago on the 1st of January. So this is going to be interesting. This is going to be an incredible January where I'm going to be walking every day, and I'm not going to be, I'm going to be getting out of bed every morning at 6 a.m. and we're going to be doing 9-10 hour walks every day, and it's going to be full on, where usually January is like the least productive, I do the least usually. So that was interesting, having that start to the year where we're doing that. But what I noticed was, because it's around the 5th, 6th of January where I have the most resistance. And what happened on the 5th, 6th of January is I got the most resistance to my feet last year, where I got the worst blisters I've ever had, the most painful blisters I've ever had. And we ended up doing a 10+ hour walk that day, arriving at some little village late at night. Didn't even know if anything was open. We just saw the lights in the distance. We had this massive resistance between each other, me and Victoria, where she was really upset about having to walk so far and in the dark and all that sort of stuff. And so it was really tough, but we were actually doing stuff, and I got such bad blisters that day that and everywhere was closed because it was the Three Kings in Spain. Everywhere was closed, and so we had a lot of stress that day where we couldn't find anywhere open to even get something to eat or drink or stay or anything. We were out in the middle of nowhere. And so eventually we found somewhere, but my blisters were so bad that I couldn't walk for another. I had to take the next day off completely, or I couldn't walk the next day. So we had to actually take the next day off anyway, and then we kind of carried on from there. And it took about a week for my blisters to heal, and there's issues there, resistance issues with my feet and things like that. So this year I thought, I wonder what's going to happen this year, and sure enough, hits 5th of January. All this resistance, all these things not working. Both cameras stopped working. I wanted to make my videos. I wanted to do the things I usually do every single day, and both cameras just stopped working. What's going on? This resistance. Went to make a video somewhere else yesterday. Couldn't make it. All these things happened. All these things just were stopping me from doing what I wanted to do. Yesterday morning, woke up, did not want to get out of bed. Massive resistance to getting out of bed. I had a class to teach. And I could have just, called one of my students, asked them to take it, but I thought, no, I got to get down there, So I crawled out of bed with the biggest resistance ever. I felt like I weighed like a ton weight. Got down to do it. Pulled a muscle doing a stretch at the beginning of class. Pulled a muscle in my back. That's how much resistance there was. Why am I telling you this? Well, sometimes we got to listen to our bodies in life. We've got to listen to what's going on, and when there is resistance for whatever reason, it's, for me, I know it's stuff to do with my own conscious mind of stuff that happened on these dates, in the past, that it keeps on coming up every year, where I just feel like kind of apathetic in January. In the past, I don't feel like that, but the last couple of days have been very, very tough. I just kept on coming up against brick walls wherever I went. And sometimes when that happens, sometimes you got to either change your approach or go, okay, maybe the universe is actually trying to tell me something here. Maybe I just do need to take a step back and relax and not do anything and take a week off or whatever, and just not do anything. Not just bang against it. Because quite often just banging against things. So sometimes what it is, whether it's with our body, whether it's with our business or with our relationship, sometimes it's better not to force things. You know, just take a step back and look at things from a different angle, and maybe we just do need to take some time off, and maybe we just need to take a different approach, you know. I remember whenever I started a window cleaning business with a friend, one of my first businesses, and we'd go out and we would, you know, it's kind of tough going because we're going from house to house to house, and some of them were like miles apart, and we weren't making very much money. And I thought, you know, the good window cleaners are the ones that just have like rows of houses, and they just go from house to house to house to house like that. There are rows of houses. Well, we were just like driving from one side of town to the other side of town to the other side of town, and it wasn't being that profitable for us, you know. I thought, okay, it's going to take years. It actually takes years to build up a really successful window cleaning business. It doesn't happen overnight, you know, because you got to get all the places in one area. And so it takes a long time. So I was quite impatient, and it got to the stage where we were just doing this. I felt the resistance, and one morning we met up at my house. I felt so much resistance to going out working that day, massive resistance, and he did too. And I said, okay, what are we going to do? You know, what are we going to do? And I said, okay, let's do something different. The resistance is there for a reason. Let's do something different. You know, where we can see where this is going. Yes, we're making progress, but the progress is so slow, and we're not really enjoying the process. It's important, you know, progress is even if progress is slow, it's great if you're enjoying the process. But if you're not enjoying the process, then, you know, maybe it's time to change your approach, look at things from a different perspective. And so I just got an inspiration when I said, okay, we're not going to go out window cleaning today. I said, look, we're not doing it. We're not going out window cleaning. We're going to do something else. And then I received an inspiration, and the inspiration was go around to all the building contractors and speak to them about doing the windows for the new builds. And that was the time of the building boom, you know, in Ireland. And so we went around that day and spoke to the various building contractors, and got contract after contract after contract, where there was just this opening, and there was just like opening in this niche of doing the windows for new builds, where virtually no one else was doing it, or they weren't doing a good job. And we got massive contracts just like that, just overnight. And suddenly we went from like there just to up like that. And we had a really successful business for a few years, and employed staff and everything, just from that one decision where I said, okay, there's massive resistance here. I can see we are making progress. It will build over years, but I just feel so much resistance to it that there has to be a better way. And just asking that question, and just saying, there has to be a better way. What is the better way? Asking questions like that and saying, okay, I'm not going to force this anymore. We felt that we were just going against something. Okay, let's not force that. If we feel like we're going against something, let's get again in the flow. And when I started taking a step back and started looking at things, suddenly these new avenues came up, which we could have just never noticed. If we just kept our blinkers on and said, okay, we're just going to keep doing this, keep doing this, keep doing this, we wouldn't have seen what else was there, you know. And just that one day of going out and speaking to various building contractors, that blew our business up into something that was really successful, supported our families for a few years, was really good. So yeah, maybe you can get something from that, you know. When you feel the resistance, again, you know, like I feel the resistance, I'm like, okay, well, how can I serve others with this, you know? How can I then transmit this and help others with it? And you know, this is what comes up. So this is my first video being made after all the resistance. Even earlier on, I was trying to make the video, and there's a guy out with his blower blowing leaves, and I'm like, okay, then that stops, and then I'm about to make a video, and then the lawnmower comes out. Like, more resistance, you know, there's this stuff happening in the universe. I'm like, okay, well, I control my reality, what's going on? Asked a few questions, and here we are making this video. Feels pretty good to me. The resistance feels like it's lifted, so I'm on track again. I'm forward on track. This is going to be a great month because yeah, because I feel the resistance is much less. It lessens every year, and this year much less. My back's feeling somewhat better as well. Did a few handstands earlier on and did some Tai Chi this morning, so yeah, things are on the up. Okay, thanks for watching, and I shall see you tomorrow.